Today on the channel, we're back at it with another edition of the Kyle Peterson Top 5. In today's video, we're counting down my top 5 favorite WWE Ultimates of 2024 so far.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Here, and welcome back to the channel for another edition of the Kyle Peterson Top 5, a Thursday tradition here on the channel. Is every single Thursday we're counting down my top 5 and occasionally top 10 favorites of something. And in today's video, we're counting down my top 5 WWE Mattel Ultimate Edition figures of 2024 so far. So an interesting list. Of course, this year, a lot of legends released, a lot of current superstars released, and everything in all points in between, it seems like. And we've talked about it maybe a year ago. Once again, what is time? The Ultimates jumping the shark a little bit, and for a lot of people, 2024 was the year of the end of the Double Up Club, myself included. They just got too many releases, and unfortunately, or fortunately, depending who you ask, a lot of re-releases with a little bit of twists and turns with just subtle changes. It was enough for me to say, hey, this is too much. When you're only putting out like 10 figures a year, that's one thing, but when you got 20 to 30 figures, I don't know if they got 30, but you know what I mean. When you get to that level, it's a lot tougher to be a Double Up Club member. So you Double Up Club members that are still at it, my tip of the hat to you, but I'm all in on loose and a few, of course, mint on card. Ultimate Warrior looking at you. But I'm all in on the Ultimates as far as a loose collector, and we've unboxed every single one of these on the channel this year. But we got store exclusives, we got regular releases, we got all points in between, Mattel Creation exclusives. There's a lot in the Ultimate variety, and as I'm filming this today, it was officially announced the Shawn Michaels HBK WrestleMania 12 Ultimate Edition coming to us this San Diego Comic-Con. $45 price point on that one, and we'll talk more about that, of course. Toy news video that happened as you're watching this. It happened the week before, so there you go. But check out that, and we'll see if that one does make it to a top 10 end of year 2024 list for the Ultimate Editions. But of course, we're going to do this list like we do all the other countdowns on the channel. We're going to take a look. We're going to start at number 5. We're going to work our way to number 1. Number 1 being my absolute favorite. Going to ask you to put your list in the comments down below and put them in order. That's the hard part. That is the fun part. So without further ado, let's count down the top 5 Ultimates of 2024 so far. We begin the countdown, of course, at number 5. And number 5, could it be the most controversial Ultimate figure of all time? You could easily make that argument here, and a lot of people on the fence on this one. Some people love it, some people hate it. Probably some people in the middle. That's kind of the way it goes. But for me, I like this enough to be at number 5. Is it perfect? No, it is not, but we're going to dive into it. We're going to talk about it, and it is the Ultimate Edition, a Walmart Monday Night Wars exclusive, Bret Hitman Hart, and I did buy 2 of these to unbox here. I tell you what, I know everybody's saying the head sculpts are terrible. I think it does look better like a lot of people when you put the glasses on, and I hear people saying I shouldn't have to have the glasses on to make it look better. I understand all aspects of it. But all in all, you get the title belt, you get the 2 different looks, or really 3 different looks with the different heads. You get a beautiful Hart Foundation jacket. This is still a great figure, even if the head sculpts maybe leave a little to be desired. I understand that. Is it perfect? No. If it was, it might be a lot higher on the list. If this would have been a great head sculpt on here, who knows? It could have been number 1, maybe number 2, but it is what it is. They're still working on Bret. You want to believe constant learning. You want to believe constant improvement. Maybe at San Diego Comic-Con this year, we'll see some improved Bret head scans. We'll see what's going on with that one. But all things considered, this is still a really good figure. So good, in fact, it comes in at number 5 in my top 5 list. All right, next up, number 4 in their top 5 elites so far in 2024. And number 4, a good friend of the channel returning to the Ultimate line. It is one Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, of course. And this one almost feels like a make-do in some ways. As we do remember the first Ultimate Edition, it was a Mattel Creations exclusive. Very limited, but a lot of people down on that one with the soft goods jacket. And I understood what Mattel was doing there. We were just coming off the Supreme Jazzwares figure, really not too far off of that, and they wanted to do something entirely different. So I would have probably done the same thing if I was in Mattel's shoes. But then they gave us the opposite version, the hard good plastic coat overview right here. And I gotta say, between the two, this one does win out. So for some reason, you know me, I'm usually a soft goods guy most of the time. This time, the hard goods entrance robe looks a heck of a lot better on Cody Rhodes. And Cody having a year of all years this year. Of course, this one representing last year's WrestleMania. It's a little tougher time that night than this year at WrestleMania 40. But Cody Rhodes, a great looking figure here. Wish we could get some new head scans. I'm going to keep drilling that point home until that day comes. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But still a fabulous, fabulous figure coming in at number 4 so far in 2024. We've reached the halfway point of the countdown. You got your list together, put it in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to this very YouTube channel, as we got countdown videos every single Thursday. But now we're at the number 3 spot. Halfway home, we're at number 3, and number 3 we go to another exclusive, a Mattel Creations exclusive, part of the Coliseum collection, part of the 2-pack. It is the Rowdy one. It is Roddy Piper, and I'm a huge Piper guy. Always loved Roddy Piper. However, this Piper, for me, it's not the most iconic Piper, but to a lot of people, pretty close to the most iconic Piper. As I got into Piper, I guess he was retired when I first started watching wrestling after WrestleMania 3. So I didn't really get around this Piper. However, I do remember the LJN as a kid. I didn't get to own it, unfortunately, but I do remember it. But my Roddy Piper is the long hair Piper, announcer Piper, Intercontinental Bret Hart Mountie feuding Piper. That was my sweet spot for Roddy Piper, and I do think we will get an Ultimate of that one of these days. Maybe some bagpipes with it. I truly think that'll be the greatest Roddy Piper figure of all time. Fingers crossed. But this one still resonates. This one is still amazing. This is still a very good Roddy Piper. Nothing against this one. It is high on the list here at number 3. Here we are at the number 2 spot in my favorite Ultimate Editions from the WWE Mattel line so far in 2024. And razor thin is the line between the number 1 spot and the number 2 spot for me. For sure, I thought this number 2 one would take the crown at being number 1, but man, like I said, it's so thin. And as of right now, this is the number 2 selection. I will say at the end of the year when we do the top 10 Ultimates, these two could flip-flop. It could happen. We'll see how the rest of the year goes, or maybe something will sneak into the top spot. But coming in at number 2 for me, it is Asuka, and none of us were ready for how good this Ultimate ended up being. Of course, face paint, mask, you know you're playing hits for me. But an amazing soft goods entrance jacket, or I guess entrance robe at this point right here, just puts this one over the edge. Extra hands, all the Ultimate bells and whistles. Just an amazing all-around figure. And I wouldn't say Asuka is my favorite performer of all time. Probably not even close. But for what she represents and what she does, she is one you can't look away from, of course, on the WWE, be it Raw, SmackDown, the premium live events, whatever it may be. Definitely a superstar, and you got to admit, a future Hall of Famer down the line. Just an amazing Ultimate Asuka, and truly the ultimate version of Asuka as a performer. I don't know if they'll ever be able to top this. Do they even try? Who knows? But Asuka Ultimate Edition coming in at number 2, which means there can only be one. What will it be? Stay tuned. Here we are at the number 1 Ultimate of 2024 so far. Once again, remind you, put your list in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, as every single Thursday we got a countdown video. But here we are at the number 1, and the number 1 blew me away, still blows me away. A favorite performer of all time for me, and maybe I mentioned him earlier in this video. What is it? We're going to Walmart. We're going to the Monday Night Wars line. We're going to the Ultimate Roddy Piper WCW edition, and I talked about it. Roddy Piper, long hair, Intercontinental feud. That's my Piper, but my number 2 Piper, right here, WCW. Of course, if you're of my age, you got to enjoy all the magic of the Monday Night Wars and Roddy Piper leaving and going to the WCW, which was absolutely wild at the time. And of course, reuniting a feud with Hulk Hogan, it was quite the ordeal for old Roddy Piper at the time. But I love Piper over in WCW. Love this version of Piper. It doesn't have the long hair, but man, iconic black leather jacket. 2 different iconic shirts. Soft goods kilt. Playing all them WCW Roddy Piper hits. A figure that I didn't think would be this high up until I got it in hand. And like you see right here, a figure so nice I had to buy it twice. And I might even get a third one to display him just in straight ring gear here. We'll see what happens in the future. But a Piper that blew me away and just edged out Asuka for the number 1 spot. And like I said, we'll see what happens in the back half. Who comes into the line, and if some of these in this top 5 maybe switch around and drop off the top 5 into the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or off the list spots. We'll see what ends up happening there. But as of right now, Roddy Piper, Monday Night Wars, Walmart Ultimate Edition, my number one Ultimate of 2024. But let me know your list. Put it in the comments down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't forget about the other YouTube channel as well. We got videos every single day, and we got tons of content on Patreon, including early access to both YouTube channel videos. All the glamour shots, you name it, it's over there on Patreon. Appreciate the support. You can also support the channel at ProStees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. Don't forget social media, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, and on Instagram. So for the top 5 Ultimates of 2024 so far, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.